Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jay. I am your host, the face of the Microview. Today we'll be reviewing the 4 type of customers there is in any industry. You could be a real estate agent, you could be an accountant, you could be an attorney, you could be a salesperson, a car salesman. Guys, this is your 4 type of customers. Welcome to the Microview, where you view the small details and we see the big pictures. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the like button if you love it, or hit dislike if you disagree with our show. And yes, you heard right, we encourage everyone to be engaged. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. So we're going to make this video straight to the point with facts and how to approach each one of them. So here we go. Our first one is going to be Frugal. Our frugal customer, client, consumer, you name it, they're there. Frugal, it's in the name itself. They usually hesitate to spend money on themselves or even on others. Their service to them or the product is irrelevant. Whatever it is, if it's at a lower price point, that's the one they're going to go with if this is something that they truly need. If they don't need it and they could skip on it and continue using or doing whatever it is that they're doing, then they will continue doing that. When it's time to spend the money for that X, Y, and Z product, it is due more to the fact of a necessity other than, a must in reality. Other than an emergency, they will not consider it. So, as a salesperson, keep in mind that your time is too valuable. So therefore, if you know this is the type of consumer or client that you are dealing with, set a time for them. Call them up, say, hey, you have an appointment to talk to me regarding X, Y, and Z product or service, and this is the time frame that I have for you. Within that period of time, this is the time we will meet and you conduct business with them. And guys, understand that everyone in this industry, whatever industry you are involved in, everybody's time is valuable. And the way everybody spends their money is also valuable. There's people that they really value their money and they don't just want to throw it down the trash can. So therefore, they are very careful about how they deal with this. And therefore, as your time is valuable, you want to set a time for them and don't discriminate on who they are. Sometimes this is just cultural. It is in their culture that they have to negotiate and hustle you for the money, and they're not going to give in without even asking for a discount. Yes, guys, if you happen to be watching this in any other state other than New York, if you're from New York, this is one of the traits and one of the things that you learn as you become street smarts. Is about learning how to negotiate, how to ask for prices. If you're not comfortable with that budget that you're dealing with at the moment, you have to learn how to pretty much, pull strings whenever you have to, right? This type of consumer that is very frugal about their money, they may also be very high in demand. Sometimes they want, this type of service, and this is the type of money that they have. And it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you, as a salesperson, you have to help them understand that if this is their budget, this is their value. And you need to help them understand and bring that value a bit more up to their level where they are able to come up a little bit more and try to meet you somewhere in the end in order to have some meeting of minds and be able to move forward. If you are a true salesperson and you are very motivated in making that sale every day, every week, guys, understand that there is no wrong consumer, no wrong customer, no wrong client. All you have to do is learn how to navigate and negotiate with each one of them differently. Sometimes you won't even have to say anything, as you will continue seeing in this video, so stay tuned. And by the way, don't forget to hit the like button. Moving forward, guys, challenging. This challenging consumer is usually challenging, very negative. They have like a negative vibe over them. They're very serious. They don't like to smile. If they happen to be a customer at a restaurant, they very that demeanor. They don't talk a lot. They might be very condescending a bit more. What can I say? The only way, honestly speaking, when you're dealing with this type of customer is doing what we call a turnover. I learned this when I was a teenager, when I was working in sales, the jewelry store. Basically, your turnover is you get someone else, a colleague of yours, even a supervisor or someone superior to you that does and deals with customers as well, right? To just turn over the sale to them. And then basically you split the commission, you split the credit, whatever incentive there is in between that's behind back doors, you deal with that later. But it is basically a better approach because 0 plus 0 equals 0. You don't get no commission. But if you have a difficult customer that for some reason or whatever it is, they happen not to like you, it could be because of who you are, because of your sex, it could be because of your skin color, it could be because of whatever. Your goal should be about focusing on how to close that transaction. And if you have to turn over that sale to another individual because you get the idea and the sensation that they might be able to connect better due to culture, due to language sometimes also. If you, let's take it back a step, guys. I'm a Spanish speaker native person. So if I see a consumer that speaks Spanish, I will let them know that I speak Spanish. And 9 out of 10, I'm going to close that sale. Because once we have that native language at the same level and they understand that, I understand where they're coming from because of culture, it becomes a bigger and better connection in order to close that transaction. And if you see that your client is from a different culture that maybe your colleague is from, guess what, guys? Don't even think about it twice. Call over your buddy and have them close that sale, because it's going to be a much better turnaround in order to make it solid and be concrete in closing this transaction. Don't waste your time. All right. Now, moving forward to the 101 questions customer. This type of consumer likes to be very educated. They never purchase on impulse. Never. They will come to your shop. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video and you're still talking to that customer that paid a visit to your shop several months ago before this crisis started going on, and you're still in connection with them in trying to close the transaction, that's your 101 question consumer. So you gotta treat them a bit quite similar to that frugal customer. And here's why. Set a time for them, have them come in during that time in order to educate them and take your time. Don't rush them. If you've rushed them, trust me, you're just pushing them away to your next competitor. Don't do that. Take your time talking to them, educate them, help them understand what's going on, help them understand how your company stands behind the product. That makes a world of difference to them in their mind. It works, guys. Take your time. For those that don't know, I'm involved in the optical shop. Many years ago in New York City, I was working in an optical shop where the patient was purchasing progressive lenses. For those that don't know, progressive lenses basically means that you could look at a distance, intermediate, like for the computer, and you could be doing reading on your phone, for example. And they could start off at the lower end about $300 to $400, and the higher end about $700 or so. And that is just for the lenses, for the feature itself without any coating. Now, I had a consumer at that time that she needed these glasses and lenses, I should say, and then she comes pays a visit to me. She took lots of my time. I took all of my time answering her questions, educating her about the different type of product, and comparing apples with apples, so she doesn't go and compare apples with pears, because she did say to me, completely transparent, I'm going to go around and shop around, because this is a very expensive lenses and it is quite an expense. I understood, I respected that. I gave her my business card and have a nice day. About 3 visits later, she finally decided to go with me. And yet, she even confessed to me that the glasses that she was purchasing for me were a lot more expensive than the competitors. And not by 20, 30, 50 bucks difference. No, we're talking about over $100 difference. So that goes to show you guys, if you take your time, patience, customers, consumers, and clients will come back to you. It's that simple. This is the reason why you have to take your time in order to help them understand the process, the product, the service, how your company stands behind the product, and you'll get a customer for life, guys. So, and to be quite honest, this 101 question customer, usually that happens once. That happens once, because once they understand your trust in the company and the product and how you are presenting things to them, that only happens the first time. After that, it becomes smooth. Everything is 1, 2, here I am, same thing as I did before, this is what I want again. And it's smooth sailing, guys, from that point on. So moving forward, and as I'm moving forward, please guys, hit the like button. Thank you. It really helps with the algorithm with YouTube, guys. I'm telling you, this thing is bizarre, but it really helps. Hit the like button, please. So moving forward, the influence customer. Guys, there's always a moment where you need to speak up, educate your consumers. There's always a moment where you have to turn over that customer to someone else to handle it. There's times where you have to just sit back and be quiet, like the influence customer. Sometimes you get that consumer that saw a product on a commercial. Maybe a family or friend has this product, they love it, they like it, they're already sold on it. They don't even understand the features, guys. Like I'm telling you, they don't even know if the doors closes by themselves or you have to manually open them yourself. Like it's incredible. But there's times that you just need to be quiet and just be there to collect the transaction, not to do a sales pitch, guys. No, you are there to collect a transaction. Do you understand that? So let me give you an example. Some time ago, about maybe 5 years ago, I was working in another optical shop in the Bronx, where I was part of a team where the owner of the shop was actually very enthusiastic and great energy, I have to say. This guy, his energy will bounce off the walls, and that was without drinking coffee, by the way. One time they were short staff and he decided to kick in and help out the staff. Now remind you, as an owner, he was involved more in the back end of the business, dealing with payroll, management, training, hiring, etc. But this day he had to work the front. A young lady came in. She had her eyes set on a pair of glasses and he was very enthusiastic. He presented her the glasses. He showed her the products, the benefit and the quality of it, and how the company is gonna stand behind her. And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Here's my credit card. He did one small mistake. He decided to push for another sale, trying to make this into a multiple transaction of glasses. For those that are not familiar, a pair of glasses will very easily cost you minimum $500. They could very easily reach over $1,200 easily. So he's trying to make a multiple transaction, trying to increase the sale. And not that he did anything wrong by it, but it was a bit too much already, because at the time it was already late in the evening, time for close, and people were already picking up, ready to go, and this was your last customer. And he decided to kind of push that borderline a bit too much, and unfortunately, long story short, he lost the sale. The lady decided, she got completely turned off, and she decided just to move forward. She said no thanks, but thanks, and decided to go and take her business somewhere else. It's that simple, guys. When you could be a salesperson, you could be a professional in whatever field, career you are involved in, and there's times that you just gotta be quiet and just hand over your hand and for them to handle their credit card and for you to swipe it. It's that simple. That's what you're there for. Just be quiet. You don't need to turn off that consumer from going away to your competitors because you just couldn't be quiet, guys. There's times that people go out there to purchase not because they need it, it's just because they want to. And when they want that, it's just like a therapy thing for them. You know, we're nobody to judge that. They are there, they have the money, they want to buy it, go ahead and let them buy it. But don't judge, guys, and don't be there trying to educate them when they already have their mind set in what they went there for, all right? With that said, guys, I want to leave you with this great bonus. So these are your 4 average consumer. Sometimes they come with significant others. When they are with that significant other, understand the following. You have to sometimes target the significant other instead of focusing on that consumer. Understand that once the significant other is turning off the product because of what the significant other is saying, understand that you need to focus more on the significant other and start showing the significant other the product in order for he or she to present it to the other consumer, because they're going to feel that that person is fulfilling their role at that moment. That makes sense? Example, if a husband and wife are shopping for a car, you know, every time you present a car to the husband and she turns it off and he turns it off right away, right? So stop presenting the car to the husband, start presenting the car to the wife, because the wife is going to have the last say in what goes on and what's going to be purchased. Make sense? So with that said, guys, I'll leave you till next week. Please, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. Have a great week and have a good one. I'll see you next week.